The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. The Health Department reports more than 14,000 new COVID-19 cases. That brings the country's total caseload to over 1.7 million, with 98,000 infections considered as active. Some 320 duplicates were removed from the count. The virus killed 233 more patients overnight, pushing the death toll to over 30,000. Now, at least 142 cases previously tagged as recovered were classified as deaths. Recoveries, meanwhile, surged to nearly 1.6 million, with more than 11,700 new survivors today. Out of those, over 52,600 tested for today's DOH bulletin, 24.9% rendered positive results. The OCTA research group reports that Navotas had the highest weekly COVID-19 cases among LGUs. From August 7 to 13, Navotas recorded the highest average daily attack rate. This is followed by Tuguegarao City, Mariveles in Bataan, Makati, and Santa Rosa, Laguna. OCTA also said the ADAR and ICU occupancy are at critical level in the following areas: Tuguegarao, Imus in Cavite, Malolos in Bulacan, as well as Cebu City, Cagayan de Oro, and Mekawayan in Bulacan. Meanwhile, NCR recorded 2,900 cases in an average last week. The reproduction number in the region was 1.85, while the positivity rate was 19%. The Metro Manila Council is urging NCR LGUs to issue executive orders penalizing all persons who are found to be responsible for unauthorized COVID-19 inoculations. MMDA Chairman Benhar Avalos reiterated that the EUA issued by the FDA for COVID-19 vaccines does not include the use of an additional or a booster shot. This came after several reports of individuals receiving additional doses of COVID-19 vaccines. Avalos said there is an urgent need to curb the unauthorized inoculations in the higher interests of the population protection and to punish those involved in these fraudulent acts. LGUs have also been directed to improve their contact tracing efforts as COVID-19 cases continue to rise. But one business group has a different idea on how to address this issue. Greg Gregorio has the story.
More Filipinos are testing positive for COVID-19. This has made it harder for local governments to do contact tracing. LGUs have been urged to conduct active case finding and robust contact tracing. But if you ask the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, they have a different suggestion.
Kung isususpend mo yung Data Privacy Act only for COVID cases, hindi mo kailangan bantayan ang lahat ng tao. Hindi ko maintindihan, nagawa na nating isuspend ang mga civil liberties, pati nga exercise, suspended bakit hindi tayo isuspend yun?
The group laments that billions have been spent on contact tracing, but the same issues keep on repeating itself. The DOH, however, was quick to turn down the proposal. The agency notes that this was already discussed with the IATF last year. They continue to stress the importance of the right to privacy of those that tested positive for COVID-19.
We need to uphold this kasi karapatan pang tao po yan, yung privacy na yan. So kailangan, ayon po sa batas, kolektahan lang kung ano ang necessary or importante na impormasyon and ibibigay lang sa proper authorities.
With this in mind, the DOH instead reiterated their call for LGUs to strengthen contact tracing, something that was also ordered by the Interior Department.
Napaka-importante ma-identify na kagad natin itong mga tao, lalo na mga asymptomatic, kasi yung asymptomatic talagang hindi nila alam, carrier sila, lumalakad sila sa loob ng bahay, lahat nahahawaan o lalabas sa kapitbahay, nahahawaan. So kung magkakaroon tayo ng active case finding, doon pa lang po malalaman na natin at may lalabas na po natin sa bahay nila para mag-quarantine na kagad or mag-isolate.
For News 5, Greg Gregorio, we are One News.
Let's now take a quick look at today's other top stories. The MMDA denied the report claiming that NCR mayors agreed to extend the enhanced community quarantine until August 30. In a statement, MMDA Chairman Benhar Avalos said there was no meeting among metro mayors that occurred regarding the matter. He added that the mayors are currently focused on monitoring the COVID-19 numbers, vaccination rollout, and ayuda distribution in their respective jurisdictions. The Bureau of Quarantine said digital vaccine certificates are expected to be released next month. In today's Laging Handa briefing, BOQ Director Roberto Salvado said travelers who want to secure a yellow card can apply through the agency's online booking system. But for those who are not in the hurry to get the yellow card, Salvador advised them to wait for their digital vaccine certificate instead. And U.S. regulators authorized a third dose of COVID-19 vaccines by Pfizer and Moderna for people with compromised immune systems. The U.S. FDA amended its emergency use authorization for both vaccines, paving the way for people who have a weakened immune system to get an extra dose of the same shot they initially received. Immunocompromised individuals can begin receiving the shots immediately, according to the U.S. CDC. A large percentage of Americans are said to be willing to give up a part of their salaries to continue working from home. Now, how do companies feel about this possible move? Let's watch this.
A new nationwide poll shows many Americans are willing to take pay cuts, give up days off, or even put in more hours to be able to continue working remotely. An online survey conducted by Breeze Insurance found 65% of workers who said their jobs can be done entirely at home were willing to take a pay cut to stick with remote work. We've got Bloomberg Personal Finance Editor Lisa Fleischer here with us to discuss the findings. Lisa, welcome to Quick Take. Tell me, what was the most surprising thing that you found from this data?
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. The most surprising thing I found was that 65% of people were willing to take a 5% pay cut to continue to work remotely if their job affords them that luxury. But then once they started to get into the higher realms, 10%, 25%, whatnot, people quickly were like, that's not worth it to me. I think if you start to do the mental math and just think about how much money people have been saving on their commute, that might actually make sense. Like if you do the trade-off for how much you're saving on gas or tolls or parking or your subway pass and all these different things that add up, sometimes to thousands of dollars a year or hundreds of dollars a month or more, it might make sense for you to say, look, I'll just give that up for a 5% pay cut. Of course, the survey did not ask how much more should you get paid to work from home. So we didn't hear that.
I do want to get the CEO perspective here because I'm so curious what the CEOs who are really pushing for people to come back into the office would be willing to do to get people to come back in. Have you gotten any responses from executives and leaders about where they're at with the work from home debate?
So I have personally spoken with a couple of CEOs who really want people back in the office, and they're willing to lose some workers who are not willing to come back. And I think they're predicting that that's just going to be a trade-off, that they're willing to, lose some talent if necessary to get people back in the office to where they feel that they need to be. I don't know. I mean, I think that it's going to be very dependent on the company. What we see in banking, for example, is Citibank, I believe, has a bit more of a relaxed policy about working from home, and in fact uses it as a competitive advantage to retain talent, whereas some of the other big banks, Goldman, whatnot, want their workers back in the office. But look, we're seeing pullback on this. So we had seen a lot of companies aiming for a September return to work. I feel like it was last winter or something. A lot of companies were like, don't worry about it. We're not going back into the office until September.
Just and now with Delta,
Right. And I was even thinking over the summer, like a lot of people probably could get back in the office. People were saying, I'm a little bit bored of being from home. But now with Delta, companies are really rethinking that. And you see just recently, Amazon Apple, a lot of very big companies are saying we're going to pull this back.
And for more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World Online. You may also visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.